Round 15 of the Formula One World Championship season was the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, the home ground of Ferrari. Ferrari with the drivers and constructors titles already secured. But the race took place in the shadow of the tragic events in the USA, and with concern being expressed for the former Formula One driver Alex Zanardi, who'd been badly injured in a crash in a race in Germany. Major discussions up and down the grid about the starting procedure, whether to begin under the safety car or go easily through the first couple of corners. In the end, it was decided that the standing procedure would apply. The starting grid looked like this. Juan Pablo Montoya with his third pole in 4 races alongside Rubens Barrichello. Michael Schumacher and Ralf Schumacher on the second row of the grid. Jarno Trulli and David Coulthard on row 3. Mika Häkkinen, who said that he'd take a break from Formula One at the end of the season, on row 4. He'd be replaced at McLaren for 2002 by the man immediately behind him on the grid, Kimi Räikkönen. Heidfeld and Fisichella were forced to start from the pit lane. At the start itself, it was Montoya heading down towards the first corner in first place. A good start from Jenson Button took him down the inside, and he'd made up a lot of ground as he slotted in behind Jarno Trulli, but then clipped the rear of the Jordan and sent Trulli spinning into the middle of the track. The rest of the drivers doing well to avoid Trulli. David Coulthard was in 5th place as Montoya led from Barrichello, the 2 Schumachers side by side disputing 3rd place. Trulli was pushed away into retirement, his 5th successive retirement this season. David Coulthard in 5th place, Pedro de la Rosa in the Jaguar in 6th, having come up 4 places. Jenson Button into the pits, a new nose and front wing after the incident at the first corner. Having made a good start and seen the space down the inside, he then outbraked himself and run into the back of the Jordan. Mika Häkkinen in the McLaren going down the escape road. Rubens Barrichello in 2nd place in pursuit of Juan Pablo Montoya. Out went Jenson Button, having completed just 4 laps. Been in the pits for a new nose and front wing, but he required a new engine. Mika Häkkinen in the McLaren was trying to make up ground from 13th place after that first lap incident. The Jaguars of Irvine and De La Rosa were dropping back. De La Rosa in 9th place, Irvine now 15th. Out went David Coulthard from 5th. No points for him from the Italian Grand Prix. 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship, now very much in the balance. His nearest challengers, Rubens Barrichello and Ralf Schumacher, still running 2nd and 4th. Montoya with the slenderest of leads, holding off Rubens Barrichello. But slowly out of the left-hander, he allowed Barrichello to scorch past. It was now a Ferrari 1 and 3. Montoya in 2nd place, Ralf Schumacher dropping back in 4th. Kimi Räikkönen took Jos Verstappen for 6th place. Then a surprise, as into the pits came Michael Schumacher. An early stop for the Ferraris, which indicated that they would need 2 during the race. Schumacher stationary for 10.4 seconds. He was immediately followed in by Rubens Barrichello. But a problem with the fuel nozzle delayed the race leader. He was on the jacks for over 16 seconds. A crucial amount of time lost. Mika Häkkinen went out of the race and McLaren's interest in the Italian Grand Prix ended. Montoya, having taken over the lead, came into the pits. 11.9, Montoya's only stop that he required during the race. But he was now in 3rd place behind Barrichello and the new race leader, Ralf Schumacher. Barrichello swept past the back marker, Bernaldi. Out went Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Prost. Ralf Schumacher was still leading and proved himself to be the fastest man in the field. 1:25.487, quicker than Mika Häkkinen's lap record of the year before. Jacques Villeneuve in the pits started from his worst qualifying position of the season, but was now looking on course for points. Ralf Schumacher in for his only stop of the race. 7.9 seconds kept him in the hunt for second place, as both Ferraris would need one more pit stop each. Michael Schumacher in for his splash and dash, 6.7 seconds. Rubens Barrichello in from first place. Ferrari crew under pressure again, but they performed well, 6.4 seconds. Even so, that was to drop Barrichello to third. Montoya had already gone through. Barrichello needed to stay ahead of Ralf Schumacher on his way down the straight, but Schumacher eased ahead. It was a Williams 1 and 2, but Ralf Schumacher was coming under increasing pressure from the Brazilian. And it was Barrichello who showed that he'd got the power down to the first corner. Ralf Schumacher tried to hold him off, but took the shortcut through the chicane and was then forced to hold back and allow Barrichello through, rather than suffer a 10-second stop-and-go penalty for making up ground at the chicane. Alex Young went out, embedded in the gravel, the end of a promising debut for him in the Minardi. Pedro de la Rosa on his way to a career best finish, 5th place in the Jaguar. Montoya was untouchable. The Colombian headed for the checkered flag, the first Colombian ever to win a Formula One Grand Prix. This time he'd made his pole position count. Rubens Barrichello in second place, and in third came Ralf Schumacher. Montoya the winner in just over 1 hour and 16 minutes at Monza. The other points scored by Michael Schumacher in 4th, Pedro de la Rosa in 5th, and Jacques Villeneuve 6th for BAR. Applause all round from the Ferrari-biased crowd for a great drive by Juan Pablo Montoya in a Williams. The team had reason to be pleased, first and third, but so too did Ferrari with second and fourth. Montoya, Barrichello and Ralf Schumacher on the podium. Michael Schumacher, De La Rosa and Villeneuve picking up the rest of the points. Raikkonen, Alesi and Panis just missing out. Giancarlo Fisichella in 10th place for Benetton as their season continued to improve. 13 drivers classified in all, including the Czech Thomas Enger, driving for Prost for the first time. Among the not classified drivers, Alex Young, another man making his debut, and also the 2 McLaren drivers, Mika Häkkinen and David Coulthard. Nothing for McLaren from the Italian Grand Prix, which left the Drivers' Championship looking like this. Michael Schumacher already holding the title, 50 points ahead of David Coulthard, but only 9 points covering the next 3 in the battle for second place. Montoya's 10 points for his victory at Monza put him ahead of Mika Häkkinen. Pedro de la Rosa onto 3 points after his 5th place had earned him 2 from Monza. In the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari, of course, already having won the title on 161 points, 80 points ahead of McLaren. But McLaren now just 8 points ahead of Williams in second place. battle that would go on for the next 2 Grand Prix. The only team without a point, Minardi. So for the first time in his career, Juan Pablo Montoya was on top of the Formula One podium.
I'm just so happy, and first of all, I think I want to thank everybody at Williams, BMW, Michelin. They've done a fantastic job for me, and just so pleased with the result.
Second place for Barrichello, but it might have been so different had it not been for that first pit stop.
Well, I'm not really sure what happened. We lost a lot of time, but as I said before, we would put a great show. I mean, the car was very well. I think Bridgestone did a fantastic job with the tires, and we were very competitive with the engine as well. So it was great, but unfortunately we lost that little bit, and it wasn't enough to win the race.
Third, a good result for Ralf Schumacher after a difficult weekend.
No, I must say, didn't get it right the whole weekend, basically. We had a few problems with tyres, but team did a fantastic job in finishing first and third, and I think it's a great achievement, so big thanks to the team.
2 races to go of the season, and second place in both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships up for grabs.